Hello, everyone. My name is Caroline Mixon, and I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic that is pretty relevant today in the school system. And that topic is how to support English language learner students in the library. This topic is near and dear to me because I actually teach at a elementary school where majority of our demographics are students who are ELL learners. Not all, but majority. So, I'm going to show you guys some awesome online resources, most of which are free to support our learners. So, who exactly are English language learners? These are students who are learning English in school. They might have parents who do not speak any English or maybe speak a little bit of English, but they grew up learning a language other than English at home. They can come from various cultural, economic backgrounds. Majority of learners that are ELL within our school system are primarily Hispanic and they speak Spanish, but an ELL learner could speak any language. Just to be considered an ELL student, they must speak a different primary language other than English. So why must librarians do more? There is more that we can do. There is more that we should do for our ELL learners. So the U.S. Census estimates that by 2025, there will be 138 million ELL in the U.S. That might be adults. That could be a lot of children, though, and a lot of these children are going to be in our schools. So it's really important that we as school librarians know how to accommodate and support these learners. In the future, we might also see more dual programs needed. That means programs where the teacher might be teaching the students English along with their native language to kind of ease them into the process of speaking English rather than just like immersing them fully in English. There is also an achievement gap. That means that ELL learners are kind of bringing some standardized scores down because the test really isn't formatted for them. They might not even understand what they're reading. They might not be comfortable or confident with it. So giving them the support could really boost that confidence and lessen that achievement gap. We also need to make sure as school librarians that we provide more multicultural representation, not only that the characters look like the students that are within the school, but that there are native language books within the collection. So there are also areas of concern for ELL in school libraries. Something that might need to be improved on in a school library is cataloging. That might mean that the librarian needs to maybe format the collection development a little bit better so that it's easier to navigate, so that ELL learners can find books that are of interest to them, making sure that there are books that are of interest to them, like bilingual books, easy to read books that at the same time aren't too childish for ELL students, because they don't want to be seen reading a book that they might think is like a baby book, but is at their reading level. So just making sure it's interesting for them. Might need to rearrange your shelving a little bit to accommodate ELL students. Maybe having a shelf with books that are all bilingual or in a different language. Also, a lot of visual aids can help, like handouts or placing even a sticker to let students know which books are for ELL students. Doing this will also provide students and ELL students with ownership, a sense of ownership, and realizing that, hey, they fit in, they're meant to be here. Even though they're diverse, that's okay. They're unique. Let's celebrate that. Let's represent them within the library. Librarians might also need a little bit more training. Sometimes they might not know how to accommodate ELL learners, or they might not know where to look, what resources to look for. Sometimes there might not be enough funding for ELL books, so it's important to find those free resources. Collection development for ELL learners is really important, and there's tons of stuff out there. Providing ELL learners with bilingual ebooks and printed books, picture dictionaries, graphic novels, first language text, which are just like easy picture books, a lot of pictures, less words, visual notes, and of course, native language nonfiction. Not only fiction, but making sure that there is a nonfiction native language section as well. And this can be hard to do if your school does not have a separate fund for ELL learners. So again, those free resources are great to utilize. So what exactly online resources are readily available? And for a majority, all of these I'm going to show you are free. So I found a lot of these awesome sites by Larry Ferlazzo. These are speech sites to help them with their speaking skills. The first one is called English Central, and students can watch scenes from popular movies, see what's being spoken, and then repeat what they hear. So focusing on their listening skills, but also their speaking skills. Vocaroo, it's a simple site where students can record their voice and post it to the class blog. There's no ads on the site, I don't have to worry about anything inappropriate, and no registration required. So it's a great free resource. Next up, we have writing sites. There is a site called BBC Bite Size KS2 for writing and KS3 for writing. KS3 is for the upper elementary, older students. The other one is for the younger. And then EduBlogs is also another place for class blogs. Class blogs are honestly great for all students, but they can definitely help ELL learners feel more comfortable. They can verbalize what they want to say rather than write it out, because more than likely if they can't speak language, they can't write it yet. So blogs are awesome to use. There are also some listening sites. There's TPR and English Listening Online. TPR stands for Total Physical Response, and that is a site where students will see images of actions shown, and the user has to choose the correct written and audio description of the activity. So focusing on listening and then finding the correct response. English Listening Online just has a bunch of listening activities and games. And again, these are both free. There are also reading sites. These are not all, these are just a few that I found and came upon. Into the Book, Reading Skills Stories 2.0, and Starfall. All of these sites can accommodate a variety of leveled readers, not just formatted for early or older. It's a combination, so that's really good. Into the Book is designed to help students with their reading strategies, such as visualizing, predicting, and summarizing. And these are strategies that more than likely their classroom teacher is going to expect them to work on as well. So it's really good to have them practice this. Reading Skills has stories for older ELL learners. And then Starfall is for the younger ELLs. So there are also some apps that I wanted to show. These apps that I'm about to show you are free as well. This first one is called Little Bird Tales app, and it's a lot of e-learning stories. You can print out reports, so it's very interactive, and it's free. These, we have Shadow Puppet app and Write About It app. Write About It gives a lot of resources and options for students that are ELL. They can draw a picture, include an illustration, add a photograph. I think there's even an option to connect their writing to a book. So these are both great apps to try out as well. And then VoiceThread. VoiceThread is just an option for students to record their thoughts. Teachers can record something, and then students can also record it back to them. And this is free as well. It can be really helpful when it comes to like doing projects and assignments. Epic is a great app to use, and it is free as well, as long as you are a teacher or a librarian and you have a school email address. It is pretty much like the Netflix for books. There's tons of books, all different interest levels. They do come in multiple languages. There are read alouds, and there are books that they can read independently. So this is a great option as well. There are also some sites for teacher aid, so to help out the teachers. I found a couple called English Raven and EFL Classroom 2.0, and those will specifically help teachers who need ideas for ELL. Another resource that can be helpful for teachers, librarians, and students is called International Children's Library, and it actually has books that are in over 50 different languages. So if you are a school that has not a lot of funding for ELL books, you can find ebooks on here, and they can read these books in their native language. So this is a great option as well. Makerspace, super popular right now. These can be great options for all students, especially ELL students. If you're not familiar with makerspaces, they are a place with a bunch of materials and tools for children to create and experiment things. Most of the tools that they use and the materials are super cheap, like construction paper, popsicle sticks, but you can also get a little bit more fancy with it if you have more funding. It encourages critical thinking. They really have to be creative, and especially social skills. Helping ELL students develop social skills with their classmates can be a great transition to learning English. And then there are a couple of databases for cognates and picture books. Cognates are words that sound almost the same and look the same in English as they do another language. So I found Geisel Cognate database and Find a Cognate database. Using these databases will help teachers and school librarians find books that ELL students might more likely be able to read. And seeing words that are cognates may make them feel more confident because they'll know the words because they are similar in their native language. And then last but not least, I wanted to leave you with a quote that I found. It says, "The best language learning occurs when students use the knowledge gained in a computer lab to help develop and deepen face-to-face interaction with their peers and teacher in and out of the classroom." So not only are all these online resources great and needed, but that peer-to-peer, teacher-to-teacher, librarian interactions are also really necessary. All of those combined will really help support ELL students and accommodate them in ways that they really need and deserve. So I hope that you learned some more about ELL students and how to accommodate them, and maybe you'll even be able to try out one of these online resources with your students next year. And then last but not least, there are my references.